Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today I'll be reviewing another murder mystery from my 100 Mystery Classics packet. Yeah, once again I'm diving into this thing once again because I like these types of movies. I'm always a fan of film noir. Yeah, and yeah, once again, it's really obscured, of course. No one really talked about this. Hardly anyone, if anybody. But, anyway, so it's time for another obscured film. And this one's titled, this detective movie is titled Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon. Of course, as usual, let's get into the story of this, shall we? Yeah. Sherlock Holmes, the Secret Weapon. Sherlock Holmes pretends to be a Nazi in order to spy to aid this scientist named Dr. Franz and his new invention. And then in escaping this whole trap, and of course Watson himself will play a good role in this film, of course, as usual, and that's what happens here. But anyway, yeah, Holmes and friends fly to London, where Holmes places him under the protection of his friend Dr. Watson. The scientist slips away against Holmes' instructions for a secret reunion with his fiancée and give her an envelope containing a coded message. He tells her to give it to Holmes if anything should happen to him. Leaving her apartment, thus this an attempt to abduct him by a German spy. Then that attempt of kidnapping was followed by a passing London police officer. So yeah, there's quite a bit of crazy stuff going on, I guess you can say, folks. And in my honest opinion, this was definitely a good Sherlock Holmes film. And it's one I'd highly recommend because I quite enjoy this film. I guess you can classify this one as a mystery thriller, I guess. Yeah, there's a bit of drama, a bit of adventure. Of course, there's a bit of crime in here. This is a detective movie. So yeah, of course that's gonna happen. So yeah, folks, all in all, a solid movie if you ask me. And it's one I definitely wouldn't mind to watch again. There was the evil professor that plots to gain control of both Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon, which could win the war for Nazis. So yeah, that's definitely in here, folks, the whole Nazi thing. So yeah, the whole Nazi thing, they are viewed as the villains, of course, as always. Well, Nazis are a bunch of ignorant, closed-minded assholes anyway, so of course they're gonna be portrayed as the villains of the story. But anyway, all in all, Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon is definitely worth your time. This was a good one, folks. I quite enjoyed it. The acting is really good, and the editing is really nicely done as well. I really did like the editing in here. And the acting was pretty good. And the actors who played Sherlock Holmes and Watson, they did a really good job in this one. And I liked how they were portraying their characters right here. So yeah, all in all, a good movie. This was a really good movie, folks. And it has a pretty good story, of course. It has a good story. And that's what I like. I like a good plot. I like it when a movie gives a good plot to the audience. A story is important, and characters are very important. And this film definitely has some good characters. Yes, indeed. The film's plot is based upon elements of these two short stories titled The Dancing Man and The Empty House, which, by the way, I have not read yet, so I don't know how exact it is or not, but for what it's worth, This was a good film, folks. I quite enjoyed it. The acting, like I said, is definitely a good story. Um, I actually wouldn't mind watching this again, like I mentioned before, because this was overall a well-crafted film. In the midst of World War II, Sherlock Holmes is involved with the protection of this scientist whom is working on a secret weapon that may prove to be a turning point against the Nazis. And when the scientist and his formula goes missing, Sherlock Holmes becomes involved in a rush to rescue the man and prevent the nemesis, this evil professor, from getting hold of the rest of the formula. So things will get rather insane, I guess you can say, folks. I was always a fan of Sherlock Holmes, and I always liked the character. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this film. Um, so yeah, I like this movie, folks. Again, like I said with the other Sherlock Holmes films, this is a well-paced film. But the thing is, folks, a lot of people nowadays may want to ignore this film just because it's old. But don't just dismiss it just like that, folks, because it's not a bad movie, really. And I mean, in some ways, it seems kind of weird that we would have like a Nazi thing going on in a Sherlock Holmes film, so that seems rather odd. I mean, granted, the Nazis viewed as the villain in this story, which is fine, because Nazis are villains. But, it just seems kind of odd in some ways for me, I guess. It's not a bad movie, folks. It's far from a bad movie. It's overall very entertaining in many ways. So, yeah, I liked it. So, yeah, I would say watch this film if you haven't seen any of these movies before. I would say check this film out if you definitely. So, yeah, I would say watch this film if you haven't seen any of these movies before. I would say check this film out if you're definitely a Sherlock Holmes fan and if you haven't seen this one yet. The story itself is very fast paced as Sherlock Holmes and Watson seek to recover the stolen stuff that before it becomes too late. And so yeah, this could be some entertaining stuff going on, folks. A good movie. It's in many ways I can say it's an excellent Sherlock Holmes thriller with a good story, and the whole wartime setting definitely makes it a good movie, I guess. I like the setting of it. The setting was really nice, if you ask me. I like that. I did like the environment in which this film is taking place in. So yeah, not bad at all, folks. Not a bad choice at all. So yeah, overall, a well-crafted film that should be watched. Yes, indeed. Yep. So yeah, I'm reviewing yet another Sherlock Holmes film because, like I mentioned before, I like Sherlock Holmes, and well, besides that, it's on my list. It's on my list of movies to review. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, check this one out, folks. I liked it. Sherlock Holmes, A Secret Weapon. I like the wardrobes, and I like the sets that they use. The dialogue is well written, and I like the delivery of the dialogue. Um, of course, once again, this is a low budget thriller. Of course, it's a low budget film, of course, but still, folks, it's not bad. No, I won't say it's a bad movie. Just because it's low budget doesn't make it bad. Come on now, folks, give me a break here. But anyway, check this one out. Like I said a moment ago, Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon. It gets an overall rating of a 7.5 out of 10. It gets a 7.5 out of 10 from me. As always, thank you for watching and take care. See ya.